We have a big show,
A lot of
including the
movies to
latest
talk
from
about.
Eclipse,
Yeah.
Last Airbender. Let's do this weekend movies, Wade. Come on!
All right, we're going to start off by talking about The Last Airbender.
And you know what? Let's hope that title is prophetic.
Well, as anyone probably knows, The Last Airbender is supposed to be entitled Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's the animated series that started it all on Nickelodeon. And obviously there are reasons that they're not calling it Avatar: The Last Airbender because the James Cameron film Avatar beat it to the punch. So to avoid any confusion, but to maintain some continuity for fans of the television show, they are now calling it just The Last Airbender. Now this film is supposed to be a comeback of sorts for M. Night Shyamalan, who ever since he made the Sixth Sense has kind of gone straight downhill. He's had a lot of disappointments in a row, and this is supposed to be his chance to sort of resurrect himself. So we've got a clip of the film. Let's take a look. Now, if you know the story of The Last Airbender, or Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know this is basically another one of those Messiah stories, one of those chosen one stories, very much in line with Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia, where you have a character who is one of all these different societies at the time, different nations. They can bend different elements. They're waterbenders, airbenders, firebenders, but there's only one who can bend earth, air, fire, and water. And this is the Avatar, and the Avatar has vanished. Until one day, the Avatar, now a little kid, suddenly shows up in a giant bubble of ice, and next thing you know, it's getting on the nerves of the firebenders who are trying to control everyone in this society. Mark, you know what this movie really needed?
To not be made?
No, it needed an acting bender. Because the one thing that doesn't have is good acting. The kid who plays the title part, and let's face it, this is kind of like if the Dalai Lama were a really serious magician, this would be his story, if he could control the elements. It's really what it is. The whole thing has a real Buddhist subtext to it. But the acting is horrendous. That lead kid is awful. The other two kids are horrible. And you have some very, very capable actors in the other parts, including Cliff Curtis, who's normally very good. He's the New Zealand Maori actor. But none of them are any good.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yeah.
You're saying that the film does not have good acting.
I'm saying the film has a lot of problems. Most problematic is the acting.
You know what the film has a lot of? Dialogue.
Yeah.
This thing is the wordiest film I've ever seen. This is an hour and 40 minutes of exposition. Here's what they did in the movie. They basically took the first season of the animated show, which is true. They took the first season of the animated show and they condensed it into one film. So the movie is just nothing but rules and creatures and things to be explained. I had no the F idea what was going on. I swear to Christ, I had no idea. There are so many rules and laws and people to meet and things to understand and mystical crap to go over. I understood none of it. I totally checked out within 10 minutes.
I did too. And I will confess, I don't often make this confession, I'll confess, you know, I actually fell asleep for about 15 minutes.
He did. I swear, he did. No, get this. I was so bored. This movie's so horrible.
It is.
I was so bored.
Excruciating.
Here's what happens. When you get bored in a movie, this is what I do. I'll start watching it like this. All right, I lean in my seat. So I do that in the movie, right? And I look at Wade. He's sleeping. Now, by the way, have we said we're members of the LA Film Critics Association?
We see a lot of boring movies.
Very august group, right? I'm like this. He's sleeping. That's the movie. And what's interesting too is
it's so painful.
It's it's probably it's probably the worst film I've seen this year, and that is worse than Date Night. And
look,
Vengeance.
Here's what blows my mind.
It is. I'm not kidding. Worst film I've seen this year.
Here's what blows my mind. This is what blows my mind. And we see a lot of boring crap, and it doesn't put me to sleep. It's rare that a movie puts me to sleep. I have seen 4-hour-long Taiwanese movies about puppet masters that don't put me to sleep. This one put me to sleep. M. Night Shyamalan, I have never seen a guy so completely self-destruct so quickly in my life. Wow. It is unbelievable. The Sixth Sense I thought was great. We all did. Oscar nominations. Oh my gosh, this guy, he's Jesus to movies. Where has he been? And then he comes out with Unbreakable, and you're like, okay, well, I'm kind of, it's all right. I get what you're going for. It doesn't quite work, but you know, better luck next time. Signs, not good. Alien looks goofy. Next thing you know, I don't know, we're a couple of
Lady
movies
in
down,
the
Lady in
Water
the Water
and- yes.
and the horrible thing where the plants
Village.
attack people. The Village,
Village.
which is Twilight Zone, way too long. Oh my gosh, and it just gets worse and worse. And here I thought, okay, he's hit rock bottom. Like he couldn't possibly make a worse movie than, what was it called? Weeds with the trees. What was it? What was it, the last one?
Well, no, Lady in the Water was the one that killed him. They
That was
wrote a book
dreadful.
about that movie.
No, but the last movie where the plants attack
Happening.
people. The Happening. The Happening. Great. See, wonderful title. I remember it so easily. Honestly, The Happening was so bad. I thought Lady in the Water was horrible. Happening can't. Oh my gosh, it's even worse than Lady in the Water. He really has hit rock bottom. This guy, go to a 12-step, give him a little airbender, come on up, resurrect yourself. Honest to God, it's worse than everything.
It really
it's
is.
the worst film he's made.
Here's
unbelievable.
Here's the thing, and I'll liken it to this. When Spike Lee was in a rut, he took a for-hire gig. And that for-hire gig was Inside Man.
Yeah.
Now, Inside Man was a terrific film,
Yes,
and that was the first movie in a long time where you thought, wow, Spike Lee's a real director.
Yeah.
This is great. Here's M. Night Shyamalan, basically a for-hire gig.
A totally for-hire gig.
The problem that I realize now, forever and for all time, is that visually, stylistically, the way he approaches films, Shyamalan is a one-note guy.
Yes.
He can only make films that way. And this movie didn't need to be made that way. You know, the action, the thing is that he uses these, there's a lot of long single takes,
Yes.
right? And some of the long single takes, they're not poorly choreographed, they're fine. The problem is that if there are these long single takes, what can't you do? Cut away. So if you want to speed up the pace of a fight scene, you can't.
No,
'Cause
there's
you're
no,
locked
you can't,
into-
you can't kind of cinch it up in places and do those magical things that editing does, where it changes the pace and it accelerates.
Can't
and
do it.
slows-
You're stuck.
You can't do it.
By the way, can I say? I think I've said this before. I had no idea what was going on in this movie. So wait. Can you please see this movie and explain it to me? Literally, people they talked and they talked and they went on and on,
You're
and I
saying
had no
it's the
idea.
worst movie ever, and can you please watch it?
Please watch it.
Yeah.
Please see it for me.
Because he loves
Somebody
you.
explain it to
Because
me.
he
So
loves
go to
you.
message
So-
boards, explain to Mark
Yes,
what this movie's
please
about.
do. It was so bad. No, seriously, no. There's all this
I have to tell
mythology
you.
they have to go. What?
I got to tell you, I saw some clips last night of M. Night Shyamalan just giddy about this movie on the red carpet. He's just giddy. He's so full of himself. He's so excited. He said, I love horror films and martial arts films. I've always wanted to make a martial arts film, and I have another one that I want to make that I'm stirring around in my head. And you know what occurred to me? I thought, this was a martial arts film?
No, it's terrible.
It dawned on me. I was like, really? He
But-
thinks he made a martial arts
So
film?
in the end, did he just get lucky with one movie and now he's just
You know,
movie after movie
I'll tell you what it is. He made one film before The Sixth Sense, which was
It was kind of a comedy. It was a little bit of a.
well, the kid looking for his, trying to connect
right.
with his dead grandfather,
right.
which was the title of which is completely.
I think it's
escaping
Star
me.
Wars.
Yes, exactly.
Just talk about the movie, Wade. Who cares about the title?
It was a sweet little film that was released by Miramax. It was very kind of
Wide
supernatural.
Awake.
Wide Awake. Thank you. Very supernatural element to it.
I don't get an applause for Wide Awake.
It had a supernatural element to it. Little kid trying to connect with his dead grandfather. But it had a really nice quality to it. It was well written. It was very tight. It was very compact, very thoughtful. And The Sixth Sense was like an extension of that. And I felt like he really put a lot of effort into it. He's a little bit kind of a one-note guy, like Bruce Joel Rubin, who wrote Ghost and wrote the story for Brainstorm, and who's obsessed with the hereafter. It was a little bit like that. I could tell these are his obsessions. These are the kinds of movies he makes, and that's fine. He probably doesn't have a lot of range, but he really puts a lot of thought into the scripts. And what happened was, suddenly he fell into that rut that so many filmmakers do, where he's out of the gate so quickly, and suddenly the money is flowing fast and furious, and everything's getting greenlit, and he has a final cut, and he doesn't feel the need to really work on anything anymore, because he's not hungry anymore. He's not fighting to get the next gig. Everything is coming so easily. So he thinks, I could just sort of breathe on a piece of paper and they'll let me shoot it. And
Well,
that's not a good thing. So I think it was too much success too quickly, and he lost that hunger.
He did, and you know what? An Airbender is just a lifeless dog.
It is.
That's it. It's just a lifeless dog.
It is a lifeless dog. It is even more life. Even the movie it reminded us of was The Golden Compass.
The Golden Compass. That's
It's-
right.
All right, the movie
Wait,
sucks.
we
Let's
got to move on. It sucks.
right.
Jesus Christ.
How many times do I keep?
All right.
Movie sucks. We get
We're
it.
moving on.